Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and I am here today to show you the top 5 DIYs from 2024 with a little bit of a bonus. But before I begin that, I will show you my top short. I got so many views of this busted canvas. It seems to be the thing for 2024. In this full-length video, I made 3 different seasons, a spring, summer, a fall, and a winter. And they were absolutely a great big hit. So check out that full-length video if you're interested in the busted canvas. I forget to link that. That is in September. So that takes me on to the full-length videos, and I am going to start with this brown crate, which was found on the good table at the dump and cleaned up and painted with a beautiful silver sage. And you never know why it is that somebody will click on a video. Is it the thumbnail? Was there something in the title that caught their attention? Are they desperate for spring? Because most of these were spring. Let me know what it is that causes you to click on a video. Once that was dry, I decoupaged a piece of rice paper decoupage that I had purchased quite a while ago, but you could certainly get something free on the Graphics Fairy. Just using some Mod Podge, letting that dry, and then clipping back the crate section so that I could use the emery boards intended for your toenails work really good for little spaces like this and for sanding. Added some black wax, and here it is in my bedroom. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, the next one is also found at the good table at my dump, and it is just a wooden box. It has a twig handle, and I am using a very similar green color, although this one is going to be a tad more vintage, and it does dry a little bit darker than the first green. And then once that is fully dry, then I just cut some floral foam that I got from the Dollar Tree, pushed that into the bottom. I am not certain where I got these picks. They may be asparagus fern. That's what they remind me of. But they're kind of a flowing detail for the front of this bucket, so I'm going to add them. And then I had a beautiful bunch of pink and white roses that I got on clearance at Michael's, and it might have been in the wedding section, and I am just breaking it up into small sections to add that throughout the foam and fill this basket in. Filling in any extra spaces with some multicolored boxwood, and then just taking some moss and filling in all the empty spaces to make sure that the foam is not visible. And I love these colors. They are just so romantic. Such a beautiful shabby chic cottage core feel. For me, I am making this a little bit more vintage with some of the distressing ink on the edges. I am actually doing my office over. I work from home, and I am using these very romantic, very cottage core, shabby chic colors in my office, and I am absolutely loving it. I am hoping to get a full video of that as well as my bathroom remodel in 2025. Now, today's playlist is a collaboration of top crafts for 2024, and this is hosted by Lady Red Crafting and Our Gray House. I'm going to have their channel links as well as a playlist in the description box for you to enjoy everyone's top creations for 2024. Now that takes me on to item number 3, which I got this sad, beautiful, but sad looking little angel that was in the Goodwill bins. And for whatever reason, she had almost no hair and she had broken wings. And so I just took her home and removed the wings completely, removed what was in her hands, this Christmas tree, and removed the rest of that Spanish moss hair to give myself something to start with. And then I am going to go ahead and take some fiber. I am a spinner. I spin wool, so I have a lot of these rovings, wool rovings, and this happens to be llama. And so I am just braiding some of that and going to attach that on with some hot glue, and I'm going to change her miraculously, honestly, with that. I added a little bit of a bun with some hot glue as well. And I think right there, that is a million times better. And I cannot believe what something so simple will do. I have several times this year recreated a doll or an angel or an item like this, even a wooden one, by simply adding hair. So you can buy roving on eBay, I know for sure, and maybe even on Amazon. And then I am adding this sweet little baby doll that was also in the bins to her arms, and that is all I did. But oh my goodness, I love her with my primitive country yellowware that I collect, and she was a big hit. So I am definitely keeping her for myself. So I am going to now move on to number 4. Also one of my absolute favorites. My husband had these clock columns. I don't really know. They kind of look like finials, but you could certainly use spindles. But he had a number of these, and they sort of got ink or something on them. And so I decided they were perfect for me. So I took some dark antiquing wax and went around them, having him cut them in 3 different lengths first. And then I had found these little birdhouses, their ornaments. They were on a spring tree or something ugly. And they were also at the Goodwill bins. And so, I mean, for cents, right? You're paying for the pound. And so these cost me next to nothing. And they're bright, they're cute. If you like colors, there's nothing wrong with them. But from my home, which is very, neutral, in vintage feeling, I wanted to go ahead and when I say vintage, I'm old. So I mean, 1940 vintage. I don't mean 1970 vintage. I know I was born in the 60s. So for me, vintage is the 40s. And so I laugh when people say vintage. I'm like, eck, that's not vintage. That's 1990. So I am meaning something older when I use the term vintage. So I am just adding these, each of them, once they dry, to the top of these spindles with some greenish colored Spanish moss from the Dollar Tree. And that is all I'm doing to these, and I am in absolute love with these. These are absolutely a keeper for me, but they would make phenomenal gift items, or if you sell things at a craft store and you're able to get hold of something like this, I'm sure they would sell big time. So moving on to number 5, in this video, I actually have 2 woodland items that I'm going to show you because I'm not sure which one the viewers liked the best. But I am starting with a large piece of bark just from the yard from cutting wood for our wood stove. Now, if you do take a piece of wood from outside, you can just use a nice old paintbrush to just wipe off all the dirt and dust and all that. And then you can put it in the oven on about 200 degrees for 15-20 minutes just to kill any bugs or what have you that might come into your home. And then once you have that done, easy enough to go ahead and just add. It dries it out a bit too, which is nice, to add these items. And here it is, just fun to add whatever it is that you have in your stash, whatever items that you like to add. I had some grapevine, so I twisted that into a little nest, and then I added different kinds of sisal and some moss and some bird feathers and what have you to just add a little bird's nest here. Of course, all the details are in the full-length video. I added some furniture knobs, painted them, and then added some little dots to make them look like mushrooms, added moss and florals here and there just to make that look like a little bit of a woodland scene. I had that little wooden house in just a bunch of stuff I got at the Goodwill bins, painted that and put it on a a little stick to make it look like a birdhouse, and then added a little sign. It may have been Easter time when I did this. I think I wrote Happy Easter, and then just distressing those things that I wanted to distress, just to make this look like a sweet little springtime centerpiece for my dining room table. And I think it came out lovely, and it was definitely an item that people really seem to enjoy. So what I love about this is primarily free. I mean, you may have to add a couple little things, but it's wonderful to just go out into nature, get some acorns, some pine cones, whatever it is you have in your area, and have fun. And the second little item kind of went along with this, so I'm throwing it in here. I took one of those little tin pan wired twine from the Dollar Tree, and then I am making a little nest in this little patty pan with the same basic items, and then I'm going to take the wired twine and I am going to glue that to the inside edges of the patty pan, coming up and over into loops, and then added the little finial to the top of this sweet little item. And I think that it is absolutely adorable. So when you're thrifting or going to yard sales, these are great little items to look for real cheap, and then you can recreate something like this for your home. I did embellish these little wired twine a little bit with some greenery and some lily of the valley that I had, which I absolutely love, to give that just a more springtime feel and dress that up a bit. And I really love it elevated on another knob. Love to know which of these 5 were your favorite. Now for the bonus, I thought I would take a couple of the items out of the #1 Christmas video this year and just show you some quick shots in case you missed it. But certainly I will link in the description box all of these longer videos for you to take a look at. And also, I do not want to let 2024 go by without telling you how wonderful you have been for my channel. Your comments have been just so appreciated, and your encouragement. So I am just delighted to have you join in the journey with me. I am so grateful that I hit 3,000 during 2024 and was able to do a lovely giveaway. And I am hoping to have 5,000 by the end of 2025. So if you would share this with a friend you think might enjoy it, then that would certainly help me to reach that goal. So here in this Christmas video, I took a piece of birch bark and wrapped it on a water bottle. I was going to fill it and put regular greens and berries from my yard in it, but I actually decided that I wanted to use some artificial ones just so that I could add that primitive country candle that I got and keep that for future. So that was the first one. The second one was a sweet little roving lamb. It's supposed to be a lamb, but he looks like a lion, and I love it that he's the lion and the lamb. And then here I was just wrapping some pipe cleaners in 2 different kinds of wool to make these sweet little candy canes. Again, one of my favorite items for my home this Christmas, simply because it just goes so well with so many of the other items that I have in my home. And speaking of my home, my daughter and her family moved out about 2 months ago. And so we have really spent a lot of time just kind of rearranging things and fixing things. So I'm really hoping to do some more in my home for you in 2025. The final item on that Christmas video that seemed to be such a big hit was a sweet little doll that I got at the Goodwill bins. It's funny how many of these little doll type things I got on the same day. I don't know if somebody was dropping off a bunch of their own supplies or what, but I thought this would be a very sweet angel, and I just took some scrap fabrics that I had in my stash to give her a dress and just created that. You can see the full-length video on how I made that, and then added some little wings, which I do take off afterward, and added some yarn hair and I just think that she came out really sweet, again matching very well with so many of the items that I have in my home. So I am grateful that you stopped by to check out the best of the 2024. I certainly hope that you are subscribed so that you won't miss all the wonderful fun coming your way for 2025. I have a New Year's video coming out any day now, so don't miss that, and make sure that you have a wonderful New Year's. I will see you in the next one. Take care.